If you've searched how much milk to freeze before going back to work, you found two answers. One says 12 to 15 ounces. The other says 36 to 80. That's a five-fold difference, and nobody explains the gap. So here it is. Both numbers are right. They're answering two different questions, and once you see which is which, the number you actually need is almost certainly smaller than the one that's been keeping you up. Here's the thing almost nobody says out loud. Your freezer stash is not what feeds your baby at daycare. What feeds your baby on Tuesday is the milk you pumped at work on Monday. You pump during the day, that milk goes in tomorrow's bottles, and the cycle repeats. Lactation consultants at Bayou City Breastfeeding put it simply: the milk you pump today becomes the milk baby takes tomorrow. So what's the freezer for? It's a cushion. It's there for the day a bottle gets knocked off the counter, the day a meeting runs long and you miss a session, the day your output is just lower than usual for no reason at all. The stash isn't your supply, it's your margin for error. Which means your day one number is small and you can work it out in about a minute. 4 inputs. 1, how long are you actually away? Not your shift, your separation. 8-hour day, 30 minutes each way, that's 9 hours. 2, how much your baby drinks in a day. Research puts the average at about 25 ounces a day for an exclusively breastfed baby. And here's the part that surprises people. That number doesn't climb. Kelly Mom's summary of the research is that intake doesn't meaningfully change between 1 month and 6 months. Your 4-month-old is not going to out-eat your 2-month-old. The typical range is 19 to 30 ounces. So if your baby is on the smaller side, use a smaller number, 3. How many feeds you'll miss? Take your baby's feeds per day, say 8. 25 ounces across 8 feeds is about 3 ounces each. In 9 hours away, feeding roughly every 3 hours, you'll miss about 3 of them. 3 feeds, 3 ounces each, 9 ounces. That's the milk that has to be in the fridge or freezer for your first morning back. Now, an IBCLC named Rachel Effner recommends around 12 to 15 ounces for that first day. That's more than 9, and the difference is the point. The extra is cushion. A slow session, a bottle that spills, a baby who's hungrier than usual on a strange day in a strange room. So 12 to 15 ounces. That's your real day one number. 4, what you pump at work, because from day 2 onward, this is the number that matters. If what you pump on Monday covers what your baby drinks on Tuesday, your stash never gets touched. It just sits there. That's the standard shape. It bends in 3 directions. If you're going back around 12 weeks full time, this is the case we just did, 12 to 15 ounces to start. Then you're pumping at work and the freezer stops mattering almost immediately. That's why Rachel Effner says plainly that you do not need a freezer stash to go back to work. You need a first day. If you're part-time, 3 days a week, 6 hours away, you're missing 2 feeds instead of 3. Call it 6 ounces plus cushion. And on your days home, you're nursing. So there's no gap to fill at all. Part-time mothers routinely build stashes far larger than anything they'll use if what you pump at work is less than what your baby drinks. Then the freezer genuinely is a runway, not a cushion. Like every day pulls a little more out than goes back in, and the stash has an end date. This is the one case where the big number, the 36 to 80 ounces, is doing real work. It's also the one case where I'm not the right source. There are a lot of reasons workday output runs low, and most of them have a fix, but the fix depends on the reason. That's a conversation with a lactation consultant, not with a video. Which brings us to the thing that actually goes wrong. And it isn't running out. Go back to what a cushion is. It's the milk you don't touch. That's the whole definition. It sits at the back of the freezer, behind the milk you're actually cycling through, and it waits for a bad day that mostly doesn't come. The CDC says frozen milk is best within about 6 months and acceptable up to 12. So picture it. You started building at 8 weeks. You go back at 12. Your first bags, the ones at the very back, the ones you were proudest of, hit their 6-month mark when your baby is around 8 months old. You never used them. You never even saw them. They were behind everything else. That's the real failure, not an empty freezer. A full one, quietly aging out from the back while you pull from the front because the front is what your hand reaches. The fix has a name. First in, first out. Use the oldest bag, replace it with the newest. Your stash stays the same size, but nothing in it ever gets old. Simple rule. Genuinely hard to run in your head at 5 a.m. with 30 undifferentiated bags and a marker that smudged in February. That's the problem Pump Stash was built for. You log a bag when you freeze it. The app keeps them in order, and when you go to pull one, it tells you which one, like always, the oldest. Before anything approaches the end of its window, you get an alert, not after. and your log doesn't get capped or locked behind a subscription, every session, every bag, as far back as you've been tracking. If you're the kind of person who wants to look at 4 months of output and see the shape of it, it's all still there. Links in the description and in the pinned comment. One last thing, and I mean this video is educational. It is not medical advice. Every number here comes from Kelly Mom, the CDC, and practicing lactation consultants, and they're all linked below. Go read them. But your baby, your supply, and your situation are yours. If something here doesn't match what you're seeing, the person to ask is an IBCLC or your pediatrician. Next video is the exclusive pumping schedule by your baby's age, newborn through 6 months. Your first day back needs 12 to 15 ounces, not 80. You're closer than you think.